Welcome to Fire Emblem Engage. Engage is one of the best strategy games I've ever played. The maps are intricately constructed and present varied, interesting problems with varied, interesting solutions. The emblem rings celebrate Fire Emblem history and turn the gameplay up to 11. It's a game worth dissecting, replaying, and exploring in depth, and that's what I plan to do. This is going to be more than just a casual Let's Play. I will show the story, and I'll avoid unnecessary spoilers, but I can't properly discuss the game without spoiling some of its curveballs. If you've never seen Engage and want to experience it as the developers intended, go do that first, and then come back to this series. I'll wait, don't worry. With that out of the way, what makes this more than just a casual Let's Play? I think there's a gap in Fire Emblem content, specifically Engage, that I plan to fill. Fire Emblem games are turn-based, single-player, and mostly linear. If you've beaten the game once, you can beat it 100 times, with only minor adjustments for randomness. That gets boring quickly. Making decisions is the fun part, not moving the cursor to execute those decisions. Some Fire Emblem content ups the excitement by limiting planning. Playing blind or doing an Iron Man, not reloading saves, limits your ability to solve the game. These are cool, but I don't want to do either. One of the reasons I'm making a YouTube series is because I want to hold myself to a higher standard of gameplay than I normally do, and so I don't want to limit my ability to plan. I'm not good enough to improvise the kind of run I'm aiming for. Instead of planning less, some people plan more and up the difficulty. Self-imposed challenges like no somnial or solo runs, mods like 0% growths, or stringent objectives like low turn count test even veteran players. The flip side is that there's a reason the game's designed how it is. These can be fun to watch, especially if you edit out the tedium, but I'm not sure they all offer a blueprint for how to enjoy the game. These can often limit variety as well. As the difficulty goes up, the spectrum of strategies you can successfully employ shrinks. I think there's a gap here. Most carefully planned Fire Emblem gameplay isn't showing the standard experience, and most content showing the standard experience isn't carefully planned. I think it's easy to get the sense you aren't a quote-unquote real Fire Emblem player unless you start playing a different game. 0% growths, lowest turn count, etc. I want to show a different approach. I'm carefully planning, focusing on enjoyment rather than efficiency or whatever else, and playing the same Engage you play. Or, more pithily, expertly enjoying Engage. So how do we have fun? I'm not setting hard restrictions on myself, but there are some broad guidelines I'm building the playthrough around. I won't stall in maps to get experience or grind in any boring, repetitive ways. I'm going to intentionally avoid abusing the most dominant strategies. I want to showcase the important tactics at least once, so you see how they work, but spamming the same idea to clear map after map isn't my goal. Similarly, I will be high manning, spreading out my experience and resources across a large team. The unit performance you see won't be distorted by giving everything to a single unit. I will be sure to cover how you can help units succeed in other contexts. This is not a low turn count playthrough. I won't employ strategies that skip the combat. Some late game maps pack a real punch without those tricks, and I want to show what those maps look like when cleared straight up. When possible, I'll go for side objectives as well. I will try to go as fast as possible without trivializing anything. This is primarily an aesthetic goal. It shouldn't feel like I'm wasting time or turtling. The actual turn count is immaterial. I won't just be using the best units, even if I will tell you which units are the best for simplifying the game. Engage is fun in part because you can really play favorites, and if you're not using the characters you think are the cutest, I think you're missing out. With all of the above in mind, I'm aiming for the slickest clears I can get. Stay tuned for some interesting maneuvers. I can't promise the world, but I think this playthrough will succeed in all these ways. I also hope that this run will fill another gap in Engage content. The inspiration for this expert casual style is Zorian's Golden Deer playthrough. That is, for my money, the definitive guide to beating 3 houses on Maddening. If you're watching this and care about 3 houses, you'd probably enjoy that, and I'll just say I'd be stoked if this series turns out as well as that one. If you want to learn more about Engage, and you're stuck with me, I hope you can take this run and use it as inspiration for your own creativity, having fun beating the game in your own way. I have tens of thousands of words already written up covering every character and emblem. They will all get a comprehensive, detailed analysis. Until Chapter 8, I'll show strategies that you should be able to follow along with at home, even without DLC. When I do something that requires RNG or DLC not everyone will have, I'll be sure to point out alternatives. I think most Engage runs can employ essentially the same tactics through Chapter 8, so those videos are a foundation you can safely build on. After Chapter 8, my roster will start to diverge from yours, and I'll also start playing DLC maps. At this point, I won't limit myself to what I can guarantee every run will have. I won't rig any RNG, but I won't turn down Lady Luck either. After Chapter 8, don't follow this run step by step. Take inspiration from it and apply that to your situation. I'll emphasize broad tactical concepts that work with a wide variety of teams and don't require demanding stat thresholds. For maps notorious for their difficulty, I'll take extra care to highlight approaches I think work well, even if I end up playing it differently. Those videos will serve as standalone guides for anyone who's struggling. I'm playing on fixed growths, so none of my strategies will rely on having above average stats. If you play on random growths and use tonics where need be, you should be able to follow along until Chapter 8, at which point you'll have to start adjusting anyway. I won't be showing most of the Somniel, but I will cover what you should do to get the best bang for your buck, what to buy, forge, inherit, throw down the well, etc. I'm not playing Engage for the fishing minigame. I'll cover what makes the game most fun for me, not what maximizes your resources. If you want to really optimize the early game, especially without DLC, Zoran has streams that cover early Engage in a lot of detail, and I'll link that in the description, along with that excellent Three Houses series. I think it's a shame that so much content helping players get into games like Engage prescribes adherence to a specific metagame, what's good and what's bad, for some imagined player that may not resemble you. If you love a unit because they have stellar voice acting or an appealing design or comedic value, getting told they suck or you're not good enough to beat the game with them makes what should be an expression of your identity as a player into painting by numbers. I'm calling this an expert run, but I want to emphasize that it's a casual run too. One of my favorite things about Engage is that it's comfortable in its own skin. It has the confidence and maturity to be unapologetically about anime heroes saving the world with the power of friendship, and there's an earnest, pro-social energy to the game's characters that I admire. In that spirit, I'm not going to be sardonically mocking the story or characters, and I'm certainly not going to be mocking anyone playing Engage or watching a series I've spent many hours creating. Without further ado, let's get started. We can choose the male or female avatar. This has the least impact it's ever had in the series, and both voice actor performances are incredible, so just follow your heart. I'm keeping the default avatar name. I don't want any confusion when I refer to the avatar as Alir. Alir gets gifts on their birthday. This only has gameplay implications for the most hardcore Somniel optimizations. We are playing Maddening. Engage Maddening is tough but fair, rewarding careful strategy and avoiding frustrating cheap shots or difficulty cliffs. We're playing Classic mode. If a character goes down, they stay down, and we have to reset our save. Casual mode breaks the game balance and lowers the stakes of individual maps. If you are at all unsure which to pick, go Classic. We'll get the ability to rewind time and fix mistakes soon enough, so permadeath isn't as punishing as it was in older Fire Emblem games. Once you've beaten the game, you have the option to play with fixed growths. This spaces out level ups to keep units on essentially their average stats. If you have a 50% speed growth, you'll gain a point once every other level. I'll be playing with fixed growths because I want to show the metagame of Engage without any skew from RNG, and I have detailed plans throughout the game that terrible luck would derail. I enjoy playing with random growths and letting different characters shine on different runs, and I'd recommend random if you're playing along at home. Think of fixed growths as a content creation move on my part. Online play has certain squares of maps give you extra stuff, and it lets you get more resources by playing relay trials online. I'm not going to show this because it's somewhat of a distraction from the core gameplay I'm interested in. It's not a big deal either way. And Engage.
Almost time.
We can handle this.
final battle lies ahead. Now, it's time to engage. Let's go. One last battle and the war will be over. The others fought hard to clear a path for us. We can't let them down.
You're here, at your end. This place will be your tomb.
The game starts in medias res, as is tradition since Awakening saved the franchise. We learn how to move around and attack if we didn't already know. This prologue introduces a complex mechanic, the engage meter. Every time you take a swing at your opponent or your opponent takes a swing at you, even if you miss or do no damage, the engage meter is refilled 1 bar, shown in a circle surrounding the emblem portrait. Chain attacks, doubles, brave weapons, etc. all fill up the meter. Essentially, every number you see in the battle forecast counts.
To die here was ever your destiny. The rings are mine.
When the engage meter is full, you're able to engage. Engaging gives you access to a powerful, irreplaceable skill, a single-use attack, and a set of weapons. By default, engage lasts 3 turns. You can increase that to 4 by getting a high enough bond rank.
The time has come.
Now, as one.
Engage!
We are now connected and can unleash a powerful attack. Together!
The GBA Fire Emblem games have a level of over-the-top animation appeal that I think only Engage has really replicated in 3D. Let's go, Aleer!
You have nothing to celebrate. You are weakness itself. You will never defeat me.
I will see you next time.